All right, NAFTA negotiations between Canada, the U.S., and Mexico resume today, just 5 days after President Trump notified Congress of a U.S. trade deal with Mexico alone. The finalized agreement does not have to be delivered to Congress until the end of September. So now the question remains, will Canada be a part of this deal or left out entirely? With more, I'm joined by international lawyer and public policy counselor, Lawrence Herman. Welcome back to Your Morning.
Thank you.
All right, this weekend, Trump tweeting out that there is no political necessity to keep Canada in this NAFTA deal. If we don't make a fair deal for the U.S. after decades of abuse, Canada will be out. He also made the off-the-record comments late last week that any agreement between the U.S. and Canada would be on his terms. So what position does that put negotiators in leading up to today's negotiations?
Well, it's not easy when you have a chaotic and unpredictable president making those outrageous kind of statements. I mean, the idea that Canada has been abusing the United States is totally ludicrous when you think about it. They are our most important trading partner, but everything we do with the United States in trade terms was agreed to the United States under the NAFTA. To suggest that Canada somehow is not playing fair is totally ridiculous. That being said, we have to realize we're dealing with an unpredictable president who has his finger on what's going on in the NAFTA and has been threatening and making bombastic statements. So the unpredictability is really what's worrisome here.
That has been consistent throughout these entire negotiations, where you sort of had these sort of loud statements coming from the White House, but really the negotiators and their massive teams of people were still getting together, still meeting, still trying to find consensus.
Right, and the professionals are negotiating as best they can under the circumstances with the unpredictable overhanging Mr. Trump. The professionals are trying to work something out. The problem is that they may work something out that is satisfactory from the negotiator's point of view, and then the president puts the kibosh to it by a tweet or a comment or an attempt through his executive office to end the NAFTA.
You know, depending on which press conference you're listening to, we're either very close to signing a deal or, still miles apart. In your opinion, do you think we're close to getting something inked?
I don't know how close we are. I'm not in the room, obviously. I think there's a 50-50 chance that something can emerge, but the United States, thanks to Mr. Trump, has been very difficult on a number of issues. It is possible to work something out. The big issue is the binational dispute settlement panel system, cultural industries. Those are big issues for Canada, and I don't think Canada has any room to give on those sorts of issues. On the dairy access question, I think, and the Prime Minister has indicated, that there's some possibility of accommodation on that issue. Whether that's enough to satisfy Mr. Trump and the U.S. Team in the White House remains to be seen. So I think odds are even that we'll come out with something.
Most of us weren't around when the original, or at least paying close attention when the original NAFTA deal was being sorted out. Is this par for the course, or is this something we've never seen before, this style of negotiation?
This is unprecedented. There's never been a negotiation like this one. There has never been such unpredictability and chaos. And, when you think about it, the Americans went into this not to achieve a deal or a positive outcome. They went into this with the position that you agree to our terms or we'll back out of the NAFTA. So there's a lack of consensus among the three parties as to what is going to come out of this. The U.S. is being extremely difficult and intransigent, even at the negotiating table among the professionals. There are some difficult issues. So it is unprecedented, unlike the prior negotiations where there is a common will to come out with a deal. In this case, that common will is absent given the U.S. position.
And given all that chaos, here we go again, starting our renegotiations today. Good to have you back with us.
Nice to be here.